There are plenty of people that need work and they can't fill out a job application, but somebody has to still, the child or the old person is still sitting in the cold. The person's still sitting in the cold even though they couldn't fill out the application. So we may have to find another way to deal with that. If that's just the issue, then let this board know and maybe we can find some other way to deal with that issue. I never suggested, or anybody has ever suggested, that we just give away money or just throw money away. But that's not what my the issue that I raised. That issue is another issue. That's not the issue that I raised. The issue that I raised, and again, I don't know what's going on here, but the issue that I raised is that the board had not raised any money. That when we established this board, we talked about this board being able to do additional things. After this board sat here time after time, the Board of Commissioners sat here time after time for about a year, talking back and forth about this program. We decided that it would be a voluntary program, that people would voluntarily contribute to the program. All right, after it was decided that it would be a voluntary program and the people that wanted to contribute to the program could contribute to the program, then the board came back and made a new decision. To this board's credit, they made a new decision. The board decided to put $1,500 in that program in spite of the fact that I had asked for money over and over and over again to try to do this. But when I was asking for that money, each time that I asked for money, I was talking about that money being seed money so that we could develop the program. And it just seemed like somewhere it kind of got lost. And what I'm just saying to you, saying to the community is that the way it stands right now, it's not going to provide as well as it could provide for the people out there in the community. And that's just the way it is. And I want to do something about it, and we can continue to talk about it. But but for right now, we're going on with the agenda. But if you have additional comments, then we could talk about it. We're going to finish this meeting here. We have a short agenda, and we're going to try to finish it up. But all right, I'm going to listen to just Mr. Savage.
I would like to have a copy of the original guidelines that was set up with Engineering System Committee. I would like that.
All right, Ms.
original
Jackson,
copy.
would you make sure he gets that?
Are you speaking of the guidelines?
I think Mr. Dawson worked on a whole lot of guidelines and he presented it to us. I want to see where in they say that this board's supposed to go out there and collect funds for the thing.
It's just the initial, the minutes and the initial guidelines when we put the program together and put it into function.
As far as originally putting the group together, the night that we voted on these people to
I'm talking about the
be,
guidelines, I'm not talking about the voting process.
right,
I want the guidelines.
We had a list of qualifications and guidelines.
Qualifications. I made that list. I'm the one that put that list together of what we were to do. But in presenting that, each time that I presented that, I asked the town for money to be put into the program. The board rejected putting the money in the program. So then Mr. Dobson came back and he said, I have it on tape. That's one tape I do have, Mr. Dobson. You know what you said that night? Because I reviewed the tape. You know what you said? You said, really, we gotta do something because the people have the need. And I hate to say it, but I sat here time after time and voted against what the mayor had presented. But tonight, I'm ready to move forward with something which would be a voluntary program which could help. The difference between what you presented and what I presented was the idea that I had was that every bill would be would have an additional dollar on it. That additional dollar was to go into a fund to help people with the utilities. And but your plan was a voluntary plan. That was our difference. Once we reconciled that, then we went forward with the.
Doesn't matter whose plan it was. We still had a list of criteria and we altered them as a board. We made some small changes to them and got them adjusted right. And it's absolutely, it was a board decision. It was no individual, so,
Right.
which includes you. So
Right.
we should have a copy of that and we can provide that.
If Ms. Jackson
It'll take
can
me about
provide.
30 seconds to go pick that minute book up, but the night that, and we can, solve this now, but the night that we established this committee, that was it. I mean, there was no directive as to who would be in charge of that committee, or there wasn't any kind of definite plan that they must get out and have stew sales every fourth Saturday.
No.
There wasn't anything established like that.
No, I agree with that. It was a set of guidelines we had of how to administer.
That's that we
The
did
money,
have
and
that.
that's what Mr.
Mr.
Savage
Dobson
says.
didn't write any guidelines.
It does not matter.
I wrote the guidelines, and I'm telling you what I wrote.
I'm not sure that that's what he's asking for. I think he's asking for the directives for what this board is supposed to
Supposed to
do.
do.
Right.
There were a set of
There-
guidelines for
there
that.
were-
No.
there was not ever anything definitely set in writing that says that you all must meet the fourth Tuesday of every month, and you must have a bake sale every Saturday and there wasn't ever anything that was actually established
And I
like
agree with that. There was no,
And there wasn't ever
Well-
really a definite person
But
established.
then
that
there
says
needs
this
to be some
person-
guidelines, because this is kind of a little confusing and frustrating. It's
It
all
is,
to me.
it is, and,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
It
Well-
was confusing to us, but got confusing to some.
no, but the thing of it is, we gave the money and, from this board to get you started, to get what you were doing started. It never, nobody here ever thought that $1,500 was gonna be it, that was gonna be to do it. That was to get what you were doing started.
we actually